And at number 5, we have Chase Thanos. This is a power cosmic character at 350 and 300. He is a kill box master. He has a power where he can bring over the 2 highest characters on your opponent's force and bring them adjacent to Thanos. He also has a power that he can switch a figure's attack with their movement. So if their movement is lower than their attack, he can switch them out and make them have a much lower attack. Or he can give a friendly character a higher attack by switching their higher movement with their attack. So that's something that is very deadly if you build a team correctly around that. He has a 19 impervious with 5 damage perplex, so you can perplex up to a 20 defense. That's insane. He's got a 12 attack, 12 range, 2 targets. He has a couple downsides. He is quite expensive and he's not very deadly unless you play in a high point game like 600 points or higher. He lacks a lot of move and attack. He gets charge later on in the dial, but to start off, he only has that power where he can bring people up or just like a phase-in. Also, any powers that penetrate through damage reductions are something that you need to look for because this figure has so many points he needs to stay alive for as long as possible. And he needs a team to really be as effective. If you play him single-handedly by himself or with just 1 or 2 support pieces, he's not going to be nearly as deadly. So you really need to build a solid team around him to be the most effective with him. He can dish out the damage and really win a game for you by attacking, but you really need some support pieces to knock down some of the big hitters early on in the game. And at number 4, we have the Iron Man. This is a really good Iron Man. Indom, running shot, perplex, pulse wave, 11 attack, 18 impervious, 8 range with 2 targets. This Iron Man is a resource killer. If you play a team with a resource dial, you definitely need to be careful on how you attack this Iron Man, or it could be a very long battle and this Iron Man could potentially just wipe you off the map before you can really do enough damage on him because of his trait. He's got 2 point cost, 225 and 125, and both of them are very solid and respectable for their point cost. He's got a lot of damage reduction and overall really good stats. This is also a favorite of Michael Justice from Oreo FL. He uses this figure quite a bit at the full points and 125 and has used it pretty good at both point values. Downsides, after his first click on his 225 click, he loses the 18 defense and pretty much has 17 or 16 defense throughout the rest of the dial. So his defense is not high even though he has some perplex mixed in there. He's slightly pricey for the length of the dial, but most of the time he is worth the points. In late dial, there's nothing there that will protect him to survive other than potentially be able to get 1 or 2 more attacks in before he goes down. His toughness clicks are not that impressive. At number 3, we have Hawkeye. He's 98 points of unrelenting attack power, worth every point and more. He's got sharpshooter, running shot, stealth. He's got a 12 attack, 17 willpower, 3 damage with leadership. He has also 9 range with 3 targets. And he is wild card as well, so you can copy Mystics or the Superman TA to really make him even more deadly. Because he has sharpshooter, he's also a threat at close combat as well because he can use his ranged powers in close combat. So that's just so much you can do with this character. The downside to Hawkeye is that he has no damage reduction, and if you attack him at close combat, he's very easy to hit and he has a short dial. And at number 2, we have Dark Phoenix. This figure can be played at 300 points, 200 points, or 100 points. She's gross at all 3 point values, but to make this list, I have her at 100 points. I'm going to list the power she starts off with on her first click at 100 points. She's got Power Cosmic, Super Senses, but only on a 6, Running Shot, TK, Pulse Wave with 10 attack, Invulnerability at 17, Outwit with 3 damage. She's a flyer. She's 10 range with 3 targets. That is pretty insane for only 100 points. Notable other powers later on: Hypersonic, Impervious, and a stop click at the end of her dial. When she is KO'd, she heals all friendly characters 2 damage if she shares a keyword with them. A very good figure on an X-Men team. And for the points, at 100 points, she's very, very cheap on a team. There are a couple downsides. She needs some help from her teammates to be very effective or the most effective. Possibly another TK, maybe some perplex to maybe perplex up her damage or her attack. And her defense is a 17, so she really needs to be the attacker first off. You don't want to sit back and get attacked first. So you need to play very aggressive with this figure. Some people don't like to play aggressive, and that could be a downside. She's got a very short dial and relatively low defenses, even though she does get an 18 in there. You would probably want a probability on your team as well, just to make sure she gets her run and shot pulse wave off, and you're looking pretty good with that. Or you can play the range game with 3 targets and 10 range. She is very good at 100 points. Once you play her at 200 or 300, she starts to lose a lot of her value. So I recommend playing her just at 100 points on an X-Men team, and you really won't be disappointed if you play aggressive with her and you're able to get some use out of all of her powers. She's very, very good. And at number 1, we have Scarlet Witch. You knew she was going to be on this list, and she is at number 1. She is the most used figure since her release in Chaos Wars. The Fast Forces set has exponentially risen in price just because of her in that set. It's insane. She's like, it's just incredible how useful this figure is. She's very good at both of her point values, 75 or 50. She rocks the Mystics TA to keep her alive and a deterrent from being attacked. She has TK, Perplex, and Probability, and Energy Shield Deflection at 75 points. She has Psychic Blast, Perplex, Probability, and Barrier at 50 points. She is pushable, but only if she is needed to attack. And she can be carried, which is very beneficial for this figure on a team to be used as support. Scarlet Witch's downsides: she has a short dial, and she's often a must-kill target for your opponent because of the Mystics and the ability to perplex and prob. And above I said she's pushable, but it's limited because if you push her, you will lose perplex and prob, and you'll end up on shape change. So if you have shape change on her dial, then you want to push her to get to the perplex and prob. So it depends on where you're at. If you want to use her as an attacker, then maybe you want to push because she has Psychic Blast on her dial at some points. But if you want to get to her perplex and prob, you might want to push to get to that. Once you're on your perplex and prob, you probably do not want to push off of that. So it's one of those things. It's a give and take with her. You can push her, you're going to lose something, you're going to gain something. And she only has TK on her first click, which is on her 75 point dial. So if you want the TK, you have to play her full points. And at 75 points, she only has 5 clicks of health. And at 50 points, she has only 3 clicks of life and is a very easy target to be one-hit KO'd. Hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 Marvel Heroclix from 2012. Please subscribe and rate this video, give it a thumbs up, and have a good day, guys.